Hi, everybody. My name is Selena Lamb, and I will be sharing a presentation on Guarantee Fit with you today. Uh, my partner, Matt Thomas, is going to be joining with experience a few technical difficulties, so apologies for the delay here. If we can please forward one slide. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Perfect. As you all know, because you sell your parts on eBay, eBay has parts for every vehicle. On average, each vehicle has about 30,000 parts. And so vehicles in general are very complex. And what this means from a buyer's perspective is when they look for parts for their vehicle, it's the purchase itself can be a little bit complicated. And we can talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. Next slide, please. Here at eBay, we're very focused on helping sellers grow the platform. That's one of our key objectives. And when we think about the sales drivers and ways to help you grow your business, we essentially see that there are two main drivers. First is there are the buyers. We need to bring buyers to the platform and be able to match their searches against your inventory. Second is the inventory and selection, and this is the part where we're relying on you as the seller to put your inventory on the platform and to show it to our buyers. Together with these two sales drivers, we believe that's what's going to help grow your business on eBay. And so for today, because the buyer piece is something that we think we can strongly help influence, we're going to be focusing more on the buyer side. Next slide, please. When we talk to buyers, we get some very interesting feedback on their shopping on P&A. We ask them on multiple occasions through our user research, what are the things that are really important for them? And what we learned is that fitment is a really critical need. For buyers, they are really concerned about finding parts that fit their vehicle. And for all intents and purposes, the parts that don't fit their vehicle are more or less irrelevant to them. And so when they come to eBay to search for parts and accessories, what they really care about is finding the parts that fit their vehicle, being able to get the parts that they ordered, and then installing them so that they can be on their way. And so to reiterate, fitment is a very critical buyer need that we're going to be addressing and sharing with you some of our progress around in terms of latest launches today. Next slide, please. What we do know is that the sellers will benefit when buyers' fitment needs are met. In our research, our insights are that when buyers get the right part or accessories, there are two things that happen. One, they're more likely to keep the item. And when they're able to keep the item and install it and it works for them, they're more likely to come back to buy from eBay again because they had a good experience. And together, these two things can lead to more sales for sellers like you. And so today we're going to be focusing a little bit more on how we can help buyers find the right parts and accessories for their vehicle. Next slide, please. Over the past year, we have made significant investments in improving the buyer experience. Our work can be largely categorized in two areas. One is around improving search. Today, buyers can search for parts and accessories for their vehicle using two main functionalities. One is My Garage, where buyers can save their vehicle in My Garage. And if they pick a vehicle within their garage, they will be able to find parts that are compatible with their vehicle. The second way to look for parts and accessories that fit their vehicle is through a functionality which we call Finder. And in that functionality, buyers will put in the year, make, model, trim, and engine. And based on that information, we would then look for parts that are compatible with the buyer's vehicle information. And the way we do that is by looking at the data that you provide in your listings. In the listing process, there is a compatibility feature where you will be able to put together all of the vehicle year, make, model, trim, and engine combinations that will be compatible with the part you're listing. And so when the buyer provides the vehicle information, what we do is take your vehicle information and we match that with the parts compatibility data to find a confirmed fit. And when fit is confirmed, what we do is we show a very clear fitment signal to let buyers know that there's a match between your vehicle information and the compatibility data that's provided. This is a significant improvement that we've made over the past year with the intention of making part searches really easy for buyers, so that they would be able to buy more parts on eBay, which then we believe will be translating into additional sales for you. Now, in the past few months, what we have also launched back in February is a program that builds upon this fitment signal, this green check. And we call this eBay Guarantee Fit. It is an additional protection that we offer where if the buyer provided their vehicle information and the listing has compatibility data, we try to do a match. And if there is a match, we show this green check. We follow up with a fitment guarantee. And this is an additional protection where the buyer will get a refund for with a refund window of 30 days if a fitment does occur after fit is confirmed. And the return shipping is paid by eBay on eligible items. And what we believe is that a program like this not only offers a protection that will increase buyer trust, it is also a way for eBay to help make sure that we're also benefiting sellers as well, because we understand that sometimes a part doesn't fit, not because you did something wrong or that your listing has incorrect information, but there could be a number of things that can happen. For example, buyers just putting in the wrong year, and as a result, the part didn't fit their vehicle. And so we'll go a little bit more into what the buyer experience looked like, but the main takeaway from kind of the investments we've made so far in the past year and the eBay Guarantee Fit protection is that first, we've improved the search experience to make it easier to find parts that fit a vehicle. And then we provide a protection that not only benefits the buyer, but we believe also benefits the seller by reducing return costs, and also with higher buyer trust, improve your sales velocity as well. Next slide, please. Let's talk a little bit about how this works. And let's start with the buyer side, because that probably provides a little bit better context for what you would expect with eBay Guarantee Fit as an additional protection. On this screen, there are three screens out of the buyer shopping journey. The one on the left is a buyer looking for an O2 sensor, and the buyer provided to eBay their vehicle information. The buyer is looking for an O2 sensor for a 2015 Volkswagen SE hatchback. And the buyer gets to the vehicle, the item details page. And as you can see on the top with the green check, that is where we've taken the buyer's vehicle information and we've matched it with the compatibility data that the seller provided in the listing using the compatibility feature. And because there is a match, we display a green check with a message to indicate that the part fits. And then as the buyer goes through the checkout process, and now we're moving on to the screen in the middle there, we continue to show this fits check mark for two reasons. One is to help reinforce the confirmed fit that was performed earlier. And we also know that sometimes buyers buy parts for different vehicles. And so it's very important that they know that the part fits a certain vehicle that they've chosen, and that if in the event that they're actually looking for a different vehicle, they have a chance to go back to revise their search. And so we display the green check in the checkout as well. Now, After this point, when the buyer buys this O2 sensor and receives it, if a fitment issue does occur, the buyer has the ability to initiate a return. And in the return flow, we've introduced a new return reason. And now I'm on the screen on the right. And what you see, the third return reason code from the bottom, is a new return reason code called doesn't fit my vehicle. This return reason shows up only if we're able to confirm match between the vehicle and the compatibility data in the listing. And what this means is that the buyer would have had to provide their vehicle information so that we can have the data to perform this match. And it's only when these two criteria are met that the green check is displayed, that this return reason is shown. And so while I think it might be possible for people to do a keyword search for a part and finds that a part fits their a Volkswagen, it may not fit their Volkswagen, and if they hadn't put in the vehicle information for their Volkswagen and then bought the item and the part didn't fit, they would not see this return reason. Next slide, please. So if the buyer does in fact initiate a return because a fitment issue occurred, what happens for you would be that you'll be notified as usual that a buyer has initiated a return request. And if you use eBay's label platform and an eBay label is available, when you get notified that a buyer initiated a request, you will have a option to provide a eBay paid return label to the buyer. So this would be a return label that will be paid for by eBay, and you would share that label with the buyer, and then buyer would use that label to return the part to you. What we would ask is that you refund the buyer the part itself, and then you would just process the return as you normally would. Now, I think this is a great benefit for sellers like you because it is an opportunity for eBay to step in and help reduce your return cost, because we do know that fitment issues occur, sometimes, not at any fault of yours. And so we would like to step in and provide you with some additional protection, just as we're providing buyers with some protection, again, around fitment issues. And so, eBay does pay for the return shipping, but I think the key things to note is that some criteria are also very important here. And so eBay will pay for return shipping when the following criteria are met. First, the listing uses the compatibility feature. And the compatibility feature is one that's available when you when you create the listing. And essentially what it does is it takes all of the compatibility data you provide, and we create structured data around it so we can match it with the buyer's vehicle information. Second, the buyer must provide vehicle details. This way, we have enough information to perform the match. And third is that there must be, you can return the item just for any reason and have eBay pay for the return shipping. It needs to be a fitment issue after fit is confirmed, and that's via the green check. And then the eBay label also needs to be available for the return. There would be cases where even eBay label is not available, then the standard eBay return process and return label process applies. And so in summary, we've rolled out this change that we think is going to be very beneficial to our sellers. It's a way to not only reduce return costs that sellers like you incur every day. We also believe that this is a protection that's going to be very helpful for increasing buyer trust. And with increasing buyer trust, that's going to translate into higher sales velocity to help you grow your business on the platform. I see a question here around just kind of quickly browsing through the Q&A. You do not have to sign up to sell in a Guarantee Fit program. This is free and open to all sellers. All we ask is that you use the compatibility feature to provide compatibility data in your listing. There's also a question around whether eBay's guarantee fit program will be expanded to marine fitments. Currently, the program is available for the car and truck parts and motorcycle parts. We're still in early days. This new additional protection launched just 3 months ago. And so we're only in certain categories right now. And as we collect buyer and seller feedback to look at how we can iterate on the solution, we would also consider other categories as well, in addition to enhancements to the experience both for buyers and sellers. I think we're at time, and I see that there are a few other questions here. We are happy to take down these questions and follow up separately, and I can work with the facilitators of this breakout room to figure out how we can get those responses back over to you. And thank you so much for your time. And I'm really sorry for the technical issues we had in the beginning of the session. Hopefully you were able to, despite the shorter time frame that we had, you were able to get some helpful information from this overview. And please feel free to reach out if you have additional